Hey guys, so I got a request to do a video on how to convince your parents to let you get a dog. So this is a little bit different to what I normally do because obviously I mainly do hamster videos, but I thought I'd do this video anyway. So when convincing your parents to let you get a dog, it's obviously different from convincing them to let you get a hamster because obviously a dog is much bigger. Dogs cost more. They need more veterinary care than what hamsters do, so bear that in mind if you're wanting a dog, because they are much more costly than hamsters are. So when you are considering getting a pet dog or asking your parents to let you get a pet dog, you should go up to them and just ask them straight out if you are allowed a pet dog. And if they say no, then don't try and argue with them, just walk away. Ask them the same question maybe a week later, and if they still say no, don't try and argue with them, just accept the answer that it's a no. Then what you should do is research everything about dogs, research about the different breeds, health problems, costs, things like that, and put together a presentation, and then try and get your parents' attention and call them upstairs or call them to the computer and show them the presentation, just so that your parents know you have researched and you've gathered information up, so you know exactly how much they will cost and what health problems can occur and things like that. You should also maybe write your parents a letter. That works generally quite well. So write them a letter, and in the letter basically just state how much they cost and the fact that you will take care for them, you will walk them, you will feed them, things like that. So obviously I'm guessing that most of my subscribers are younger than me, so I was going to suggest that you could say you're going to take care of it yourself and pay for it, but that might not be an option. So with dogs, I know from personal experience from having 3, they are a lot of money, and parents might not be able to afford the vet bills, which is something you may need to accept. So if that is the case, you can offer to give them money towards the vet bills, offer to give them so much of your pocket money towards food, just general things like that, and hopefully then your parents will be able to see just how much you really want a dog. But obviously you need to point out to them that you'll be the one who's going to walk it in all weathers. You know, you can't just say it's raining so I'm not going to bother walking the dog. You have to walk them obviously because they need lots of exercise. Dogs are a big commitment. They can live anything up to teenage years, maybe even older, so you do need to take that into consideration because of plans can change and you never know, you might have to go to university and college and everything, or move away to get a job, and in that case then your parents will be stuck with this dog that you wanted. So you might want to take that into consideration before you actually ask your parents for a dog, because I know that some people got a dog that they wanted and they moved away to university and then their parents just got rid of the dog and put it in a shelter. So I really don't want that happening to anyone else's dog. So basically convincing them will be a lengthy task, and what you can try and do is take them to local rescue centres, show them around the dogs, and most dogs there generally do melt people's heart. I did that with my parents. We went to the local dog shelter, we ended up coming home with a dog. So you never know, your parents might just be persuaded by going looking at dogs, and explain to them that you're either going to get a rescue dog or a puppy. Personally I say rescues, but everyone has their own opinions. So also suggest to your parents that if they go on holiday and you need someone to look after the pets, suggest that maybe you'll stay at home and look after the dog if you can't take the dog with you, just because of obviously putting them in a kennel will cost a lot of money. So really be enthusiastic about it and put it across to your parents that you really want it, and just point out that you would do anything it takes to get the dog, and you would keep a track of how much money it costs and exactly how much money you need to look after the dog and stuff like that. So if it doesn't really work by trying to convince your parents, I don't really know what else to suggest, because I would say just go out and buy a dog, but obviously you can't do that because of the chances are they will probably tell you to take the dog back, and most of my subscribers are younger than me obviously, so I doubt most of them are going to have money to be able to buy a dog anyways, because the dogs can be anything from a couple of quid, from about £50 to £100, £200, £300. So, you know, please take into consideration the cost of the pet before. Like I said, it's not like owning a hamster at all. They are more expensive, they need yearly jabs, they need checkups, they need loads of food, they need lots of exercise. So yeah, I kind of sound like I'm trying to avoid people from buying a dog. I'm not, I'm just trying to make people realise that they are expensive. So if you are younger, suggest to your parents that maybe if you can't afford to pay vet bills or buy food, then suggest to them that you will help around the house doing chores and things like that in exchange for them paying for the dog's food and vet bills. I know that's worked with a couple of people I know. Suggest to them that you will get a weekend job. You can also, if you have your own dog, you can also sort of ask if your neighbours need their dog walking, so that will bring in a little bit of money, and at the same time you can walk your own dog as well as walking the neighbours' dogs. That will be a great way to bring in a little bit of money and support your own pet, as well as being able to exercise your own pet at the same time. So that is also a really good idea, which has worked a couple of times. So yeah, I'm just going to stop babbling now, but just ask them, and if they say no, don't argue. Obviously, you can't expect them to change their mind just because of you nag them. When you nag, the chances are they'll just say no even more. Write them a letter. That generally always works, but, well, it generally works with small animals. I've never tried it with a dog. It could work with a dog. If the chances are that you can't get a dog, don't nag your parents. Just, if you really want to spend time with a dog, then go to a local animal shelter and volunteer to help them, because they need a lot of people to volunteer and walk dogs and feed them and clean kennels and stuff. And that way, if you've been doing that for long enough, eventually your parents might say, we will get you a dog because of you've been trying so hard at the shelter and you've been showing us that you can deal with what dogs need, I guess, and shows that you're responsible enough. So yeah, that is pretty much all the advice I have to offer, and thank you for requesting the video. I hope everything works out for you. I'll put your name down below in the description because I cannot pronounce it. So I'll put the name down below, and I really hope that your parents will hopefully soon let you get a dog. So hope the video was useful in some way, and thank you for watching. Bye.